Hi guys, this is FNGR. I'm joined by my co-host Bernie Inspector and this week's King Limbo while we're still doing these Kothorix. Don't forget to check out Koth's channel. I'll leave a link to his YouTube and Twitter. And while sometimes Kothorix can be a bit controversial, I found him to be reasonable to talk to. And not just for a furry. But for a YouTuber of his size, he's super chill. I mean the channel size, I'm not making a fat dig. His Patreon chat might be worth a look, so with that in mind, I'll include a link to his Patreon as well. Though I might suggest the 18 and up crowd, though I haven't been there myself.
This actually isn't written down, but what game are you streaming later?
I'm gonna be playing Persona 5. I think I'm near the end of it.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
It's a long one.
Have you ever had any problems with gaming on YouTube?
Well, I've actually heard that streaming games on YouTube messes with your channel click-through rate, which means you're gonna get less views on your normal videos. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's what I've seen YouTubers say.
It changes which shoot they put you down. Like your next video is now going to be categorized with these. What is a click-through rate? I'm sorry.
I kind of know.
I'm talking like
I know two things you might be talking about. Do you go into advanced settings and set it, because it's usually set to I think entertainment? Do you switch it to gaming on there?
Yeah, well, I would do that if I streamed on YouTube. But okay. I mean, it's because if you put out videos that don't get many views,
subscriber burn. That's what you're talking about. That was
it's kind of, I'm not exactly sure what the technical term for it is, but basically the way YouTube shows people videos is based on what other videos they watched that had things in common with videos that other people watched. If that makes sense.
I think you're talking about related tags, or what's related, what's on the side of the videos they're watching.
Exactly. What
That's
comes
the other
up in there.
Yeah.
In their recommended section is based on that, which is the main way people are going to be exposed to your videos. So if you've got a bunch of videos that don't get many views, then all of your videos won't get promoted as much. That's what I've heard anyway. I'm not sure how true it is.
I've seen gangbusters channels where they'll do an update and the views just sink. It's people are going to click on what they're going to click on.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Even for a god tier channel, if it's an uninteresting video, I'll do it myself. I'm I sure wonder what that's about, but everybody else seemed to have a bad idea about that one.
Yeah. I'm not watching this. Yeah.
Monkey see, monkey
I'm not watching. Yeah, you're sitting there watching a Tecmo video. It's and this watch strap is. I'm not watching this.
Okay. You told me before. You'd never get involved with another fandom again. Was there a previous fandom before Furry?
I guess I've just been part of all kinds of little groups, so it's Furry is an exceptionally big fandom for what it is, I guess, because it's large, but it's not large enough to be mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens to fandoms is they start small and everything is fine, and then they start to get big and they enter this kind of intermediate period where everything is awful.
Well,
I guess.
Yeah, I was about to ask, was it the growing pains of the fandom that kind of pushed you away from? Because I was like that was. I mean, I know I sort of perceived that, especially with Furry as of late. But do you think that how much do you think the actual growing pains of the fandom? You can say Furry to more average folks, and they know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
As opposed to before. And I mean, is it all the assumptions that come with that? What is it? How much of that do you really think is growing pains? That just kind of made Furry sort of, well, put it to where it is right now, and particularly specifically your issues with it. Yeah.
Well, it's two things. It's partially the growing pains from the furry fandom itself, but it's also partially me growing as well. When I was 19 years old, I fit in more with furries. I, was interested in the same sorts of things that they were. And as I got older, I just don't really care about a lot of the topics that they care about. Things like, I don't know, I guess drama, high school type drama, and that sort of thing. And I care more about reading books and politics, and they don't really.
Right.
I guess.
So
we
you're
kind of care
just
about politics, but this is
my tastes have matured and theirs have not. And theirs have stayed
I don't.
the same,
that's the
right?
thing. I don't want to sound like an asshole.
Right, but no, I can understand
basically
that.
what it is.
Like,
well, believe me, we've been part of a fandom far too long. Where,
Yeah.
you know, the tastes have changed. No, I get it, absolutely. What would you say would be like the high point of furry then? If you can't like narrow it down like top 3, what were your like 3 fondest memories that you had?
Oh, fondest memories of furry. Oh, wow.
you got to go to
You're
your
gonna have to
happiest moment here,
Yeah.
man. Bring
Gonna
us
give me some
into
time
that
to think
moment.
about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I was like sitting there saying, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I didn't ask anything offensive on here. Then again, maybe I should have gave it to him ahead of time so we had time to think about it.
If you did, well, you know, you're gonna find it hard to actually offend me.
Okay.
I'll answer things to the best of my ability, but some things are just I don't have a good answer for. You know, I haven't thought about
have you
it.
thought about that even? Yeah.
The high point of being a furry? Not really. It was more, you know, for me being a furry was more. It was the only group that I felt that I could fit in with because I've been so different my entire life from
and how
average
much
person.
How much of being a furry was being a YouTuber for you? Also, you know, like you gotta think about that. Like, you know, not to confuse like the high points of one thing of having a good YouTube channel versus just being a furry. Like the high point of being a furry could be something as simple as like, oh, I ran into this cool person I knew and we had a fun time once, you know?
This really good free webcomic or really good free video.
Yeah, there's one video that I just kept watching. Right.
I mean, yeah,
so go ahead.
that being the case, I guess it wouldn't really be a high point exactly. It's just the ability to meet friends that have common interests that I've kept for the entire time that I was in the furry community. And even now, even though I don't really consider myself part of the community, they're still my friends. So there's that. That's the main thing I would say.
Do you say fandom or community? Which do you prefer?
Oh, I use them interchangeably.
Okay. All right. Cool. I think that. Oh, good answer, dude.
I hate to
good
be
answer.
a downer, but you know, for questions, there's always the interchangeable part. Do you have a low point?
Man, every day is a low point when you're in the
Oh,
furry. Every time you check Twitter,
I'll drink to that, man. Yeah, I'll drink. Every day's a low point. I'll drink to that.
Inspector, you led me to my next question. What's your favorite drink since you always have all these low points?
Yeah, you must have a go-to. What's your brand?
Yes.
Oh man, well, I wouldn't say I enjoy cheap vodka, but it's definitely cheap. And
it enjoys cheap.
There's a lot of it, so
I wouldn't say I enjoy it, but I drink a lot of it. Oh man.
Dude, Inspector
you know that Kirkland vodka? Let me tell you that Kirkland vodka. Let me tell you a little secret about cheap vodka right now. That Kirkland vodka, that's Grey Goose.
Oh,
it's just with a different label on it. Yeah.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I've had people say vodka's all the same. Not the really, really cheap stuff. You can definitely tell when you've got Skull.
Well, yeah, when it comes in a plastic gallon jug, you know, it's not.
Well, you know, let's not get focused on the material of the container that the vodka comes in here, guys.
It might just be hand sanitizer that they diluted with some water or something.
Listerine mouthwash. I mean, what's the difference at this point?
Dude. Let's see. Has anything ever been like a welcome surprise for you in furry?
A welcome surprise?
I don't know, something that something where the people in the community got together and you improved and you're like, yeah,
you didn't think they had it in them, but they did it.
Yeah.
Was there a cool runnings moment where you thought, furries will never be able to impress me in this way, but they did it? Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess, you know, actually pretty recently when I made that video about me leaving the fandom, a lot of furries, because I would say most of the furries who watched that video actually left positive comments and agreed with me. I thought I was going to piss off everyone, but it turns out I didn't actually piss off that many people. Most people seem to agree with me.
Your timing was impeccable. That was really good time to be like, yeah, I'm done. How long was it on your forehead, you know, as a follow-up? Like, how were you thinking about that for a while, or
Did the thoughtful dragon think about it at all? Like, I can't imagine. If there was one word I would use to describe all the content you made on YouTube,
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to necessarily bring up a name here to say that it was the, something that helped nudge you off, or was it just, oh, this is a good time?
It's just one event after another. I'll tell you what it was. It was when I decided to be a social lawyer, I guess. When I decided that I was kind of done being frustrated with people accusing each other of, I don't know, whatever they want to accuse each other of that week. Like someone's a rapist or a Nazi or a pedophile or what are they else? I don't know. Whatever.
You wanted to be a centrist.
Whatever. Well, I didn't want to be a centrist.
You wanted to be the catalyst, I guess.
I wanted to help people and their reputations, I guess. Because furry is such especially for furry YouTubers, there's no.
Well, isn't it all rep? Isn't it all a pecking order in furry? I mean, anyone claiming to know how it works. I mean, as they say, like if you claim to know how it all works, then you're misinformed or lying. So like I get that you can't really answer that, but like isn't a huge part of it there being like a pecking order, a quote unquote power level, as it were?
Yeah, pretty much. And the thing is that
it's all reputation. So like trying to
let him go.
Yeah, it's all rumor based. Everything in the furry community, when it comes to popularity. Actually, I would say that pretty much everything in the furry community for a lot of furries is about popularity. That's all that they really care about.
Well, I have a question then, since I had this experience in Brony. Were there any people that, like, before you met him, you had this disposition? I bet that guy's a dick. You ran into him like, he's not bad. You were surprised by, oh yeah, this guy's cool.
Yeah, there are a couple people like that. Dio Taz Devil. I'm sure you know who that is.
I saw somebody mention like, oh, you were reaching out to him recently to patch things up, I think.
I talked to her one-on-one, and I thought she would be a total. I don't even know what the word would be.
What's the furry word for honey? Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry.
I think I reached out to Dio Taz Devil. Were they in charge of like? There was a furry convention recently, I think in Illinois, that they had some sort of connection to, and they're like, oh, go here instead. And I was like, oh, okay. So they seemed reasonable enough. They weren't able to help me, but I wouldn't say they were a dick. So.
Yeah.
Well, what was your impression, and how did they turn out to be? I think really just what did one side of the coin look like versus the other.
You look at Dio's posts on Twitter, and she's pretty intense, pretty far into the social justice type stuff and the communism type things and Antifa and all that. But when you talk to her, I'm not going to say I agree with everything she says, but the reasons she does it are from a good place. I mean, I guess you could probably say that about anyone, but it's hard to put into words. She was reasonable, I guess, explaining things in a way that made sense. Even if I don't agree with them, it still makes sense. Like, okay, I could see why you feel that way about this subject.
Decent person despite finding no real common ground, even though at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I've had that happen plenty of times, yeah.
For content, we all have like things that we put a lot of time and effort into that just kind of underperform. Was there anything that you were like, this is going to be big, and then you put it out and you're like, crap, it should have done better than it did?
It's hard for me to remember my motivations behind every single video that I did. But I fluctuated a lot between not caring about views to making videos only for views.
I get that too, but there are times where like you're motivated. I've got something to say here, and you maybe either wishful thinking. You're like, because I've got something here to say, because I'm passionate, it's going to be big.
I think the thing that disappoints me is that sometimes I make videos. My Mayfly video would be an example of this, where I feel like I have something important to say, some new perspective that I don't think people think about, but then when I make the video, they just don't care. That video didn't get a lot of views. I think in the first week.
How much of that do you think is like flying over your audience's head, unfortunately?
I mean, that could be part of it.
Yeah.
And it's also, it's not their fault for not enjoying it. It's my fault as a content creator for not making content that appeals to them.
Well,
if I could have talked about the same thing, but put, like a furry spin on it somehow.
Right. Well, see, like, and that's the thing I've noticed, like, you seem to be like not at all afraid to talk about really serious stuff in your content, and like I would, like, me personally, like, I would never be able to put that kind of stuff forward without putting like a huge lampshade on it first, like I wonder, like, how, like, where do you even find the ability to like be that open in your videos? Like you get to, I feel like you get to a point with like a lot of the stuff you'll cover, it's like, it's serious, and I think it takes a lot of like it must take a lot of thought to even figure out what you're gonna say on that kind of front. But like, where, like, how do you get the, how do you get the courage to do it? Like you talk about serious shit.
You don't seem to have a lot of anxiety when you put your balls in a wheelbarrow and charge. I freak out myself when I freak out a little bit. I'm like, I'm about to shoot my foot off this week. I'm excited, but I'm also a little terrified. Let's see how it goes. You don't seem to have that anxiety.
Yeah, you just...
I do have that anxiety. I try not to let it show when I'm actually making the video, but I do feel it. And as far as where my videos come from, I guess I just...
Well, like, here's the thing. Like, I could say, like, a lot of people are thinking about things like... being mental illness, feeling suicidal, sexual trauma. These are things that a lot of people think about, but they're not going to go pot about it. How do you do it, man?
I think it's because that people don't want to talk about it that I feel motivated to talk about it. It's something that I feel should be talked about.
Conversely, what was something that blew up on your channel that you're like, really? Of all the crap that I did, this is what's going to get over?
Oh, definitely the questions furries have for normies video. I think that got like 300k videos. That was just the dumbest thing.
Right,
that was
probably the most boilerplate content you could have made.
Yeah, the dumbest thing I've ever made. The most, yeah, exactly, boilerplate. Like,
he did not pour his heart into this. This was not the thing he was passionate for.
No.
Oh man!
And then it got. I think that was the biggest video on my channel for a long time too. It was like, why?
Over your audience's head. Over your audience's head.
Oh, speaking of balls that I didn't have, I laughed my ass off about the F-list video.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, this speaks to me.
Yeah, well, that video, I knew a lot of people had the same sort of thing happen to them, where it was like, man, the staff on F-list, I don't know if they are this way now, but just dumb kids. They put dumb kids in charge of this giant website.
I haven't specifically really put time in F-list, but I've definitely been on similar enough sites where I was like, yeah, feels familiar.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, I mean, that's the thing with being in the furry community. Actually, other kin community is like this too, where you kind of get... certain sites are really popular, but really awful at the same time. It doesn't make any sense.
E-Bomb's World back in the day is a perfect example.
I had a really, really derp moment just now when you said other kin community. And in my head, I actually asked out loud and said, I wonder if there's famous other kin. And it never crossed my mind that such a
thing exist, and it totally does. Apparently,
it must without even getting the answer.
Like without having to look into it, I realized that that's a real thing. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, I think the otherkin thing is more. People are less open about it than they are with furry generally.
Give it time.
Yeah. Growing pains, man. Growing pains.
Yeah. It's that sort of thing is almost like a religion, so it's a little bit different, it's not necessarily a lifestyle.
Is furry a lifestyle?
Is furry a lifestyle?
Yeah.
What you asked? Oh, yeah, for some people.
Okay, yeah, because see, my whole idea with Brony back in the day was like, well, what if Brony's just a lifestyle? Now, of course, it's not. It's just a fandom by any regards. But
maybe a cult.
perhaps a cult, but
Yes.
but you would say furry could qualify as a lifestyle, and that's good to know.
Well,
Skiing is a lifestyle.
Okay.
Well, I think the main difference comes down to what it spawns from, and furry is kind of something that creates its own content, while something like brony or like anime
revolves
stuff,
around another thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously.
that stuff is based on someone else's content. Like any fandom like bronies or Steven Universe or whatever are based on something someone else made. Furry is about what furries make. And it just kind of becomes, when it's about something that the community itself makes, it has this potential to just go totally nuts off the wall, whereas something like the brony fandom, since it's based on this TV show.
Okay, so I notice you actually aren't using fandom and community interchangeably anymore, but
Okay.
but okay, I think I do understand what the difference in what we're talking about. Yeah.
He's a little high. Don't worry about it.
It's fine. Yeah, please. Go on. Yeah.
I
you know what?
promise if there's,
I'm
I tend to
ignoring
use them
my main
interchangeably.
note right here in front of me, which says, "Don't talk over the guest."
Bernie's fair. Come on, chill. He's being cool.
I know. I'm sorry.
Do you have any YouTubers that have inspired you?
Oh yeah, plenty. I first started out wanting to be like I hate everything and grade A under A, and you can see that with some of my earlier videos, the fuck it videos specifically. And as time went on, I guess I kind of experimented with doing my own thing, and I also experimented with trying to emulate other YouTubers that I liked, like H3, and Sky Williams, I suppose. I don't know. I really enjoy people who can just kind of be themselves, or what appears to be being themselves. I'm not really fond of channels that are, everything about them is fake and made to appeal to as many people as possible.
So,
you know what I mean?
Like that guy with the glasses, or?
Oh no, Nostalgia Critic. As much as Nostalgia Critic, as much as I don't really like his sense of humor, I at least have to like give him props for being true to himself and making the kind of content that he wants to make in his own style.
I understand your answer there, sir. But when I say that guy with the glasses, I'm generally referring to the boilerplate of all the people who
smash
are
that like and subscribe button.
Right. Yeah.
Like the Linkaras, the assembly line that basically spits that into a whole bunch of other jobs.
Here's a YouTube video. Here, you're gonna watch it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really give people flack for emulating other YouTubers. I just mean, what's a channel that, it's hard for me to think on the spot here. I guess something like I have nothing against what's that PBS Idea channel? I think it's actually gone now. I have nothing against that. I actually like that style of content as something, as a good style of like think piece content. But everything on it, that's just an example of content that's just so safe and so kind of sterile, I guess. Everything is made to appeal to the masses, and a lot of it's very simple, and that's why they have 10 million subscribers or whatever, And I don't know if I'm sounding like jealous or something. I'm not saying that out of jealousy. I'm just saying I'm just not really fond of that.
No,
kind of
that
content.
sounds like a realistic perception of what you're talking about.
Look,
yeah, that doesn't sound jealous at all.
Look, you're American. You're supposed to covet success. You're doing it right.
These
are your rewards. Yeah, when you're successful, you'll know.
That's like trying to get the highest score in the video game. I don't see the problem here.
Yeah, it's because it's fine. I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that. That's something that people I think don't understand about a lot of what I say, is that I'm not trying to make judgments about things, whether they're bad or good. I'm just kind of stating things as I see them. Things are what they are, and if you want to get 10 million subscribers, you have to have that super sterile content. If you do stuff like make videos about furries, then you're going to have like less than 100K probably. That's just how things are. Super niche stuff,
Yeah.
there's a definitely a healthy market for being a contrarian, having some guts here and there.
Yeah, well, depends. There are a lot of social rules that I wasn't aware of because I've been part of the furry community for so long that I know what the rules of being a furry are, but I don't know. I'm not as familiar with the rules of society at large, so.
No, believe me, I'm coming from Bernie. I'm pretty sure. Were there any ones that just like surprised you since you went down too far down the rabbit hole, so to speak?
Let's see. Every now and then, yeah, I'll make a video that I thought would be fine, but it turns out people really kind of freaked out about it. Like one I made was about how YouTubers, they all talk about how shitty someone like Logan Paul, that's his name, right? Logan Paul, I can't even remember now. Logan Paul made that video. He videotaped a corpse in the woods, right? And everybody's freaking out about how terrible that is, and how you shouldn't do this kind of thing to get views. Meanwhile, they're all making videos about that, to get views. That was the trending topic at the time. They're doing the exact same thing he is. And I made that video saying that, and people really didn't like that video because I made fun of YouTubers that they saw as righteous or whatever.
Well, here's the thing: like the you can't show a dead body thing on YouTube. This is one of those things where like YouTube, what YouTube doesn't make a lot of sense on that, because no matter whatever dead body you show on YouTube, and videos would get taken down before where there's like a beach in California where like if you jump off the Golden Gate Bridge, there's somewhere you're going to wash up, and people would go and take videos of that and post them on YouTube, and YouTube was having none of that. Now, during the campfire, when people were trying to help identify family members and stuff, they were posting really graphic videos on YouTube, but YouTube would take those down too. I forgot where I was going with this. Anyone,
Wow.
okay, no, anyone, Logan Paul, obviously, God damn it, fuck, I forgot where I was. I should have written down my point before I started talking.
I would like here is if you were like counting up, like trying to get to a big number, I would just randomly spit numbers out at you.
Yeah.
To help you fuck up there on the side. But no,
please.
Fine.
Yeah, no, please.
Here, I'll
Anthony,
give you
that would help more than anything I was just saying.
So here, I'll manage to get Kothorix into a little bit of drama, just enough to piss everyone off.
Yeah.
Cats or dogs? Pick one.
As my favorite?
Yes.
Cats.
I knew. I saw it from the video. I was like, I'm waiting to see if he lies.
Cats.
Anyway.
Okay.
No,
Cats.
I don't. That's one thing that people. Yeah, that's one thing that society as a whole has a problem with. I think is when I say that I don't really like.
Okay,
dogs.
hold on. I've got one. Rocker or toggle light switches.
The what? I don't even know what that
is.
is.
The traditional toggle style light switch or the flat rocker style light switch? Rocker or toggle?
I don't know what you mean here either. Are you the button light switch or?
Oh no, like the.
This sounds like an old fucking podcast.
No, okay.
There used to be a show on where like, is a hot dog a sandwich? Let's not do that. Anyways,
is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yeah, no, I had people arguing about that. Did you why did you choose a dragon? Is it based off a fantasy setting or otherwise?
Oh yeah, because I was otherkin before I was furry, so my first character was a dragon, and that's just the one I stuck with. Plus, okay. So I'll say something that isn't too flattering about myself, but this is just how it was. Furries are super thirsty for dragons for whatever reason, feral dragons. Okay. And so when I was younger, I thought maybe I should. Oh, light switches. Okay, so I thought maybe I should make a furry character like an anthro, like wolf or something. But then I started to get a lot of people who liked my dragon character that I kept from when I was.
Furries are known for being thirsty for dragons, though. So yeah.
So, but that's the thing is that why would I switch my character to something less popular?
Right. So the other thing you were doing put you like top tier as far as Sona was concerned as a furry. So just roll with it. Yeah.
Exactly. But I mean, I say this, but this was like 10 years ago when I really started to get involved with the furry community. And so then I just stuck with the dragon, and it's been there forever. And, I've used that even in some of my, I don't know, my YouTube campaign, I guess. I've used the dragon as kind of like a sex symbol thing. I had an ad on E621 at one point. But I don't know. It just is what it is, If furries want to.
If you could be anything besides a dragon, if you would change, like if you would rebrand it early, what would it have been?
If I had rebranded to be like a normal furry persona type character,
yeah,
it'd probably just be a wolf.
Everyone says wolf, yeah.
Well, because
you want me, baby. Yeah.
I'm surprised that anybody would be willing to be a wolf after.
And that's because that's what's normal for being a furry.
That might have ruined that now. Yeah, we don't know.
If you I notice you use a blue yeti in your videos. You ever think about upgrading?
I mean, I guess, but do you think my okay? So when it comes to
get my co-host going,
okay, no,
he's an audio.
How do you feel about your audio quality?
I don't know. I don't really know much about audio.
What monitors do you use?
I have no idea. Just monitors I found.
Okay. Nice.
All right.
Well, here we'll go to another tech question because I'm sure people. You Let's Play or whatever. What's your graphics card?
Oh, it's the 1060.
Okay.
I believe.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Yeah, she's a workhorse, man.
Nice. Do you have any favorite furry artists that you'd recommend?
Furry artists that I'd recommend, right, for commissions?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a friend named Freya. I'm not sure what her screen name is.
Like if you could throw me either their DA or Fur Affinity or whatever you crazy kids are using these days.
Yeah, I have a friend Spotty. I don't remember her screen name, but shit, I wish I could. But yeah, her name is Freya, and she does she draws. She does really good like fluff type things, which I know furries are into. That's her specialty, I guess. So if you want an artist that does super fluffy things and is
just
very
floofy fluff everywhere, just like the fluffiest stuff you can get.
I'm sure I'll be able to find bronies who'll be interested in that. So.
Yeah, no, that floof is huge in bronies right now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
If you could find their link later on, I'll definitely include that. Right.
Well, I mean, she's nice. I mean, she's my friend, and so I get along with her well, and that's why I became a friend in the first place, too, is because she's very easy to work with, very friendly, and
sir,
also
I respect artists a great deal.
Very well priced for how good her art is.
Oh, you just got it. You just got Anthony's clocks taken here. He's this boy's excited now.
Yeah, I'm always on the lookout for affordable, reliable artists.
Yeah, so
who don't take the money and run.
Oh no,
good. No, I wasn't saying she.
No, that's
thinking of someone else. Don't worry about it. Let's see.
A pet peeve of his, let's say.
You mentioned you went into a military. Did you have any misconceptions before you got in that was like a big surprise to you?
About the Army? Oh, yeah. No, I knew exactly what I was getting into because my dad was a major in the Army.
Oh, military family. Okay.
Exactly.
That makes perfect sense, dude. What was your, how far did you get?
How far? I was actually only for 2 years. I was released an honorable medical discharge after
medically discharged. So, yeah, they could call you back. They don't know. They might change their policies.
It's too late now. Actually, this year it was like January 15th or something when I actually ended my inactive reserves.
Oh, okay.
So now they can't.
Yeah, no, not now.
Can't get me now.
What freedom did you miss the most when you were on the inside, so to speak?
Freedom.
You're choosing what to eat, when to sleep, when do whatever you. I'm assuming you're giving.
You mean in the normal Army, not in basic training?
Oh yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Well, in basic training, you basically have no freedom. In the Army, in the regular Army, it's It's not that different
job,
from just
really.
having a normal job. Yeah, it's not that different from having a normal job.
Well, were you in active combat or anything? Did you get deployed?
No, that was actually a reason that I was
okay.
let go of, is because I have, funny enough, the Army, through their outdated practices of causing you immense stress at all times, I developed a condition they call hypervigilance, which basically means that I can't sleep or do much of anything without constantly being
that's so great. That's so great that they made you so high strung. What a bunch of jerks.
Yeah, I was actually, and because of that condition, I was rendered non-deployable.
So they put you on meds for them, and then they disapproved those medications, I take it?
Oh my god, the exact... How did you know? Did that happen?
Yeah, I might know, because I might know something about that. But yeah.
That is exactly what happened. They put me on medication because I was gonna get deployed, and you have to go through this big, long process where they look at you and make sure nothing's wrong with you medically, and they're like, oh, the hypervigilance thing, okay, here's some pills for that. They're like, cool. And then, a couple days later, like, well, we can't deploy you because you take medication for hypervigilance.
Yep.
Like, okay, you just gave those to me, though.
Because you need to be world certified, and suddenly in about 2000, I forget, mid-century here, mid-tens, they decided a bunch of meds were not world certified, and they couldn't deploy you overseas because whatever. Our FDA approved one medication, but some other countries said that maybe that medication had too many side effects, okay? And it was just a technicality because of the pills. Were the pills working? You felt fine?
I mean, they were sleeping pills so that I could actually get a good night's rest and then not be all weird and sleep.
Yeah, you were fine. You would have been able to do your job.
Oh yeah, I would have been fine. And the thing is, that's weird, is there were all kinds of pills that everyone was on because they gave you like a giant bottle for like malaria pills, and so there are all these other pills.
All certified. All certified. All are okay in all the countries you may serve in. Certain treatments for like depression or sleep deprivation or insomnia, certain things like that we do that other countries don't.
Oh.
So medically they were correct. Your treatment was working fine, but that's oh man.
Yeah, I just figured they were trying to let people go for any reason, because
that's what it feels like at the end of the day, doesn't it? Or even they planned on this, like, well, if we just give them these pills, we get to let them go, and they kind of knew it. But that's some conspiracy theory level shit right there.
No, it's not really conspiracy theory. I was part of it.
Yeah.
That's just what happens. During around like 2013 when I got out is when they were trying to downsize. They're trying to, I think, downsize by 25%. So they were just letting 25% of the battalion or whatever you were part of go, and for any reason, basically.
Would you have kept that as your career if they hadn't let you go?
I think I would have had to. Enlisted really sucks for a couple of reasons, but if I would have become a warrant officer, I think I could have stuck with it.
How far off were you from that?
I would have had to go to some kind of tech school.
So you would have needed more. You would have taken some time off, gotten some education, and gone. Yeah, that's that's a super smart career move. It's really sad that they fucked you, dude.
I mean, it was. If I would have tried harder, I guess I could have.
Man, like they pulled your number out of a hat, is what it sounds like.
I guess I don't know. I don't really care anymore. It's
no, but yeah.
Yeah, he's moving on. Anyways, trying to think. I might have blown through everything here. That was quick.
Oh, whatever. Well, just talk like we're talking then.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't want to keep it because you were like, "Oh, let's do it early and get it in and out." I was like, "All right."
No, this dude's cool, man. Like, yeah, dude. This has been
okay. Here, I'll go back to the can for a basic question here. If you could steal one man's talent, who would it be, and what would the thing be? So
a talent.
Yeah.
Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but I want Stephen King's ability to write novels. He'll write like 6 novels a year. I don't know how he does it.
Nice.
horror fan genre person.
No, I don't need.
No, you just want that many letters on the page per year. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know how he does it. It doesn't make sense. It's like he signed a contract with the devil or something. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he says he does everything with a pen too.
It shouldn't be humanly possible to write as many books as fast as he does.
Well, you've never thought he might have ghostwriters or something? He's super rich after all.
I guess that could be the case. I hadn't really thought about other people writing for him. I guess that must be the case, huh?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Burning Spectre's a bit of a conspiracy nut.
Yeah, I'll come up with theory. Like I can come up with shit. Like I'll draw crazy conclusions to things.
He would have been Theory Brony, but that was a crazy asshole a long time before he got there. Jeez. Do you have any Jeez, I wish I would have kept up a little bit more. Do you have any thoughts on like the Dishonored Wolf drama thing that happened, or? Oh,
Dishonored Wolf. Dishonored Wolf is exactly the kind of person that I wish that I could have been a like a social lawyer for. I was talking about that earlier. Basically, people in the furry community get their reputation ruined. Anyone even moderately successful gets all kinds of accusations made against them all the time, and those accusations, true or not, start to stack up. And when 30 people accuse you of being a Nazi or whatever, then people start to believe, wow, so many people came out and called him a Nazi. He must really be a Nazi, And it's
there's some credibility to groupthink all the time.
I did before I had Rags on. There was I won't give the girl's name because I don't want to get back into it with him. But they're like, oh, he's a misogynist and he's transphobic and a Nazi and he's friends with a groomer. I'm like, okay, more about the groomer part. You don't care about any other shit? No, not at all. I don't care about any of that dumb crap. They kind of blew up on me.
Show me some kind of proof, first of all, but there's never any proof.
I you know what?
It's
I'm not
gotta be out
Rags.
there. I don't know.
He's a little rough around the edges, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh yeah, I talk to Rags pretty frequently. He's a
bit of a bro.
A bit of a bro.
He outbroed me. Yeah.
Yeah. He hangs with the. Well, here's my theory about.
Oh, well, he hangs with who? Who's he hang with?
Yeah.
The people who are very trolly, I guess. I don't know if there's a name for them, but there's this group of internet friends, I guess, and they're just super trolly. That's how they talk to each other.
Wait, so he does have an organized group of friends who he stirs shit up with? What a surprise! Wow.
I think I know what you're talking about because he mentioned he's like, oh, I was on such and such podcast where I responded back to the right opinion.
It would appear he responds to everything, though. I think that's his modus operandi. He talked to us, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
he was very patient. I'm glad I was a bit more patient. I was a bit more prepared for this podcast. I was like, I'm not about to do that again. I wrote down 5 questions and assumed, my co-hosts could talk their way out of a ham sandwich. We'll be just fine.
I was the worst. That was the worst.
Yeah, we ran out of things to talk about in 5 to 10 minutes. Then we did like a response video to somebody who was accusing him of copyright, and it got way too mean. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually have some questions for you too.
Oh, sure, go ahead, right ahead.
So, well, first of all, how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, oof. Okay, I'm 39.
Okay.
No, I'll put 38 or 39.
Okay.
I guess. Oh man, I don't want to sound too mean, but I was just.
Oh, okay. No. Buck up, hit me.
I just some of the content you make is about like drama between what is essentially kids, 19-year-olds, and do you ever feel like it's like why focus on that so much?
Because that's a huge part of what our fandom consists of, mainly. Yeah. I mean, that would be because that's who's in the fandom.
If you're referring to like the dumb things that don't involve, older people going after kids. God, I miss those days. I miss when it was dumb, stupid shit, or someone acting like a dumbass in the comments.
Yeah.
Oh, those were so safe and fun, and
Right,
the
like
stakes
like
could have been lower.
back when my things I worried about were Ephraim Josine messaging me on the internet. Like, like those kids. Oh, they're dumb.
Yeah, there used to be a time. Yeah, there used to be a time where I was able to keep track to all my fans, and if my fans got out of line, oh, good, I got content for next week.
I mean, I guess I made videos like that for a while, where I was just like, oh, let's talk about this drama thing, but then I just got so sick of it so quick. It was like, this is not content that I feel like an adult should focus on. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying, but here, let me no. All right, Kothorix, I get what you're saying, but I used to be part of. There was a group called the Analysis Rift, and the people behind it would bend over backwards not to handle things, and I went in the opposite direction. You could say out of spite, if you will, but handling things head on. I just rather get through it and get on to the next thing instead of just ignoring it. I'd rather, nothing ever got fixed by doing nothing at all. That's my.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's the same attitude I had with the whole social lawyer thing. It's like, okay, well, all these people are getting accused of dumb shit. I mean, the least I could do is look at that evidence in a more objective way and see what might be true and what might not be true. But that always backfires. That's the problem with it.
I wouldn't say you can count on that going smoothly. I wouldn't say always backfires, but you can't count on that going smoothly.
Well, I'm a bit confused when you say things like, 20, 30 people. Like, some people can't handle like 20, 30 people versus, I don't know, there's worse than that. there's a lot worse than that if you screw up bad enough.
Yeah, but I mean,
20, 30...
when I said 20 or 30 people, I meant 20 or 30 people that you personally have heard it from.
Yeah, dedicated people fucking with you. Yeah, versus, everybody. I definitely could understand that there's... You don't seem like the kind of person that would name drop someone even if they fucked up. It's just the perception I have, so I don't want to throw named examples at you.
Well, I can... Well, no, that's fine. I don't mind. I mean, everybody... If it's some shit that everybody already knows about, then go ahead.
Well, for example, I'd asked you and Xanadu about Foxler, and I didn't get the full details, and that's my fault for not looking deeper.
Yeah, I had that written. I had that note written down. Little heads up, man. Come on, something. We were getting along with him really good, and then he blurted out something about banging a 16-year-old is the best sex in his life, and I was like, that's a good joke. I'm not kidding. I'm like,
Foxler is kind of unique.
He needed to get kicking his ass a long time ago, I guess.
No, I think he's just kind of autistic or something.
I'm not.
There's a lot of bronies that try and use that excuse, and I don't let that.
I'm done with that. I'm done with that. His daddy bought him a sim pit, and he memorized a track. He must be autistic. Yeah, okay, whatever.
I mean, autistic in that they don't understand the how people perceive what they say, or what is appropriate to say in social situations, or what is appropriate to do.
When we talked to him for that hour, he was on the ball. When we got off the stream, he kind of fell apart. I don't know if it's because the day got late, but it was a
long day.
It was a long day. I don't know. Maybe he was on the ball. Maybe he's played up. I don't know. I'd rip my hair out trying to figure out Foxler.
Yeah, Foxler's an odd one. He's unique.
He's an outlier, even for furry.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't quite understand Foxler. I mean, I don't know what his motivations are. If I knew his motivations, if I could figure that out, then I could...
Attention. I gotta be attention. That's all I can
figure. Seems like to me. Like, maybe. I gotta work the room. I gotta be the guy everyone is into right now, and it appears to work on fucking everyone. And I'm like, I'm a dude who's skeptical of people. Like, if I'm not gonna get along with you, it's either gonna work or it's not. Okay, so like, I really feel like I was a little bit just kind of played by that guy. Like, I don't know. if
I
ever,
think you had some misconceptions of me too, Koth. You're like, oh, I think you're going to go after my friends. Until this day, the only one that name came up was that one artist, which I don't have memorized. And I was like, oh, okay, enough people seem to know
Zaush.
about. Yeah, Zaush. And I was like,
Okay.
I'd be beating a dead horse here. So
Well,
I'm just gonna.
okay. Well, let's talk about Zaush for a second.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, Zaush is a prime example of the kind of person I'm talking about when I talk about wanting to be a social lawyer. Because however many years ago, 10 or however many years ago, Zaush was accused of raping this girl, and people just went with it and said, "Oh, well, Zaush is a rapist," and that just became fact. Zaush is a rapist, and that's what everybody thought of him for years and years and years. And then I made a video looking at the evidence and said, "Hey, this thing that everyone just takes as fact, as part of the history of the furry community, probably didn't actually happen if we look at all the evidence that we have." And that's, I wanted to try to clear his name, but it backfired because instead of clearing his name, people just said, "Oh, you're a rape apologist." It makes no sense.
A rape
When I covered
apologist.
when I covered the Kero thing, people called me a troll shielder.
Troll shielder.
You're protecting Medicare. I'm like, yes, me.
Troll
I'm
Yeah, of all
protecting
people,
Medicare.
yes, of course. Anthony Aguilar is protecting Medicare. That's just what
My
what
first
the
video on
anti-bully
that
needs.
topic was questioning, "Are you sure about this?" Then he did a follow up. I'm like, "No, he's sure." Okay, he's pretty damn sure. Jeez.
So that's the sort of thing that I'm talking about exactly. And and with the other thing with Zaush too is that he had some conversation he had with somebody. People took screenshots of it. Someone who was living with him at the time took actual photographs of his screen, which is a strange way to do it. But and then sent it in. It was a conversation.
That's a strange way to do it, to say the least.
There's ways of still.
And the thing about that was, oh, there's child porn. There's child porn in that conversation. And so one of the videos I made was, hey, let's look and see, is there child porn in this? Wow, there is not child porn in this conversation. Amazing. No one looked into it. They just assumed that whoever said something about child porn was true, and then that rumor circulated. And then the fact became, there's child porn in that. I looked through it and said, there isn't child porn in this. And my story is corroborated by the police, who actually investigated that because people reported it for child porn, but no arrests.
So your report aligns with the report the police officially have on this?
Yeah, as far as I know, unless people.
Yeah, here's the thing, Koth. You've been pretty cool. When one of my friends wanted to talk to you, I was like, oh, I could try and be the go. You're like, just put him in. Yeah, I brought Furlito in here. You answered all his questions. He's like, yeah, cool guy. So
yeah.
Maybe there are people out there with better questions from me, but just the times that I've dealt with you seem like a straight arrow about it.
Oh well, okay.
Well, yeah, dude, I don't know what you were ever so worried about, dude.
Thanks.
A straight shooter. I'm not making a sexuality joke. I'm just, you're not a bullshitter.
Yeah, dude, you are one of the most thoughtful, genuine people I think we've ever.
Let's not go
talked
crazy.
To. Well, no, because but Anthony, like we're talking about a scale where we talk to people who are completely full of shit sometimes.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I am a bit of a sucker. We did get taken in by Foxler for like an evening.
Right. Yeah. Well, I just want to this one thing I want to finish, and then sorry. It's just that. This is what I'm talking about. Why with Zaush and that whole video is that when people said, oh, he has child porn. I looked at it. The police looked at it. We both said he doesn't have child porn. And then instead of people saying, okay, he doesn't have child porn, they said, well, you're just a child porn apologist or whatever they want to say. That's their conclusion, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And going back to like the first question you asked me, that's why I left the furry community, because the people in it don't make sense and their ideas don't follow logic, and I can't deal with it.
Well, I had a friend once who referred to it as the vocal minority. If that part manages to beat you down, you know what? when I get to how many years you were in it, and I go fuck it too, which is I felt like after a couple of weeks I was already feeling that. Yeah, I can understand. I can empathize, or at least understand your decision on that whole matter. I haven't seen a massive outside of that weird bad dragon thing, which seemed like it was ancient news as far as I know.
No, there's buttons circulating for that one.
What bad dragon thing?
Oh, something about the person behind Bad Dragon can't have a pet or something. I forget. I don't have the article in front of me.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I'm not a source there. I'm not stating anything as fact.
I can't confirm. I've known about that for a minute. Can't confirm a single source on it, and I know. All
I know is that the person who handed me that off their news thing disappeared like a few days later, and I was like, maybe I won't do anything with this. They got threatened with a lawsuit. I'd rather not.
Yeah, that's the situation, though, is that it's always suspicious when accusations suddenly disappear about someone.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I went the way I did originally in the Kero thing. I was like, oh,
exactly.
Yes. Twitter went down. I'm like, oh, that doesn't look weird.
This is some aptitude for investigation, man. Like, dude. Yeah, like that is yeah, dude. Exactly. I don't know what to think when you have to dig deep to find out what the original statement was. It just like it starts getting weird and suspicious at that point.
Exactly. And that's with the Kero stuff. And as more information about Kero came out, it seemed like
better investigators than us, guys.
Oh,
it seemed like he actually was guilty of some of the things that people accused him of, but not at first. And that's the thing that people don't think about, is that when it first came out, it was very suspicious. Someone made an accusation about him and then immediately deleted it. And then deleted the group that apparently had investigated him so that no one could find any information or look into it at all. That basically means in almost all cases that it's all bullshit, right? Because why would you delete all this stuff?
That's the easy answer, yes.
Why would you delete all these things so that people couldn't look into it?
People are afraid of the heat, man. Brace for impact. Some people can't do it.
Yeah, I have no idea how bad it was. I could sit there and say, oh, it couldn't have been as bad as this, and this, but maybe people just weren't ready for that. There are some scary people that.
No, there was a guy crying in front of us because he was afraid of what would happen with a certain situation, and we just told him, get ready for it. And then he turned out to be fucking harder than we were when it come to pursuing the guy. So like I wonder what goes through people's heads when they do something like that. Did people accuse him of this knowing it was bullshit and then it turned out to be true? Like that seems unlikely, but it's crossed my mind.
That seems like, in Kero's case, that seems like it could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It was a very, very weird situation. The weirdest one that I've ever come across by far. So,
yeah. I didn't want to. I was like, oh, it's so bizarre that it has to be bullshit. There couldn't be people this really fucked up out there that are that big in any kind of community. No, it's real. This is.
Well, yeah. Not only that, it was such a weird accusation, but also that all of the supposed evidence was deleted and scoured from the internet immediately after the accusation.
I've heard so many weird things from Pseudonym and all these other weird branches that were investigating him. I don't have it memorized, but there's definitely people out there who could walk you through it piece by piece.
Because anyone. We're covering up for a larger ring of shit going on, and right now Kero's the fall guy. Like, not that it's bullshit, but that the people who initially exposed him might also be guilty of some stuff would be another reason that they might decide to cover their tracks all of a sudden. Strictly speculating, but it's nice.
That's not even speculation. That's exactly how it is. And I wouldn't say like pseudonym specifically, but
no, dude, we got it from the thoughtful dragon here himself. That's exactly how it is.
No, I mean that some people, there were a lot of people that were called out. And Kero was just the one that
he's the big name. He's the big
there
name.
Were other people who did.
he is the face of this scandal. But
Exactly.
fuck yeah, there were
other people who
obviously
did-
other people. There's so many
Who
other
knows?
people still out there, it would make your head spin.
Well, I have a question about that though.
Mhm.
With it, you mentioned like rumors and stuff. Was that ever like something that was floating around about him beforehand, or?
A little bit, because he has all these pictures up of like real life animal moths, so he's into vor, and it's just kind of suspicious when you're like, yeah, I'm into vor, and then you have all these pictures of the insides of animal mouths. I don't know if you've ever like known vorophiles, but some of them are into this kind of thing where they take pictures of like the inside of their dog's mouth, and that's always very weird to me. It's like, is this a bestiality thing? Because it seems like it's kind of
Seems
getting
so.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
usually-
we recently had a thing like that happen where we were like, that's a picture of an actual animal. You say
Well-
you're into coiling, but that's a real animal. Is
Yeah,
this bestiality?
we were looking at a furry who one of our friends, and not going to give the names of either person since I think they worked it out. He said, "Oh, this guy stiffed me for like $200," and I was like, "Oh, let's take a look at his Twitter." Okay, a lot of his examples here of fetishes. Some of these characters look kind of young. He keeps amongst his porn. Like if you've like when I first got into or got directed to like a site like VCL, that would have been like an old furry site back in the day, where I'd be like, okay, porn, decapitation, porn, somebody being eaten, and then
Yeah.
slowly it would click on my head. Oh wait, it's all porn. Ugh.
Right.
Ask a furry if it's porn.
Yeah. No. So yeah, when I see like, okay, if I look at someone's Twitter, it's porn, real animal, porn. Now I'm not saying every furry
Right.
online who has like an animal picture, like look, but I'm just saying if your Twitter up to down, top to bottom is porn, and then there's like an animal in between the brackets, I'm gonna just guess. It looks suspicious.
Well,
it's gonna be really.
Here's the thing: is that I don't really care what people think about and what fetishes they have, and it's my concern is for the safety of animals. If we're talking about bestiality, if we're talking about like pedophilia stuff, my concern is for the safety of the kids. So if they have drawings of whatever feral animals or young characters or whatever, that doesn't really bother me because no one is hurt. But when they start posting things on their like in their porn file or whatever of things that are very close, like actual photographs that are very close to child porn or very close to bestiality, like the inside of animal mouths, then I get kind of concerned about the safety for the children and animals involved
We're
in
on
that.
the same page. I have a practical standpoint.
Yeah.
If I went after everybody who was into the drawn stuff, I'd never get past all the weeaboos.
Exactly. And that's the thing. Is that I made a video called "Art is Art," where I tried to go over the distinction, but people in the furry community it's impossible.
If there were like, say, in like, I don't know, the anime fandom, there were like 10, 20 people and that was about the extent of lolly, I'd probably crack down a little bit more. But since it feels a lot more vast than that, and I'd just be drowning in this shit, just again, practicality. I'd never get to real monsters if I have to go after that shit. Yeah.
Real life monsters. Oh, we're okay. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
for
that
using
looks
that
suspicious.
term, Anthony.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, like I said, the concern shouldn't be over what you personally find disgusting. This is my own personal philosophy. I should say, not what I'm trying to impose on you, but it's not about what I find disgusting. It's about what could possibly be endangering actual people and actual animals.
This is where you're probably going to give me a sideways look here.
Mhm.
I'm not saying that they deserve jail time. I'm saying I wouldn't be offended if the FBI kept a list of certain
file.
people's
If there
interests.
was a file somewhere with these guys'
Yes.
names on it, I'd be.
Not
That's a
that jail
good
time.
idea. That'd be a
Yeah,
good
I just-
use of our government resources.
For
I
people
don't
who
know there is such a thing.
are you talking about for people who look at like lolly stuff,
Yeah,
like
certainly.
drawn lolly stuff?
Yeah, if you're looking at like, say, erotic decapitations and shit like that, drawn or otherwise.
if then suddenly a string of decapitations came up.
just as a healthy guide, we're like, okay, who do we have on file in this area?
Yeah.
If the FBI had something like that, I'm not. Yeah, you could call that profiling if you want.
I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that because it's the way that our justice system works is kind of fucked up. Where you
if you sat there and said, well, you're not that. I am absolutely not that guy. I'm not I'm not a cop. I'm not an FBI agent. I can only do so damn much. I usually don't go after people for shit like that. So yeah, I've had to explain before. I'm not the hentai police.
Right. I don't know. You have to. There comes a point where you have to decide if what's more valuable, freedom or safety. You know.
Well, I think we all agree that the safety for who question is the thing we're mostly concerned with. Most of the time, adults are responsible for themselves. When adults start going after animals and kids, we should blow the fucking whistle.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. If it's someone who is, I guess that's when it's especially
if they even seem suspicious of that, we should blow the whistle, because fandoms and communities likewise are allowed to police themselves, are they not?
To a degree.
Are fandoms allowed to police themselves? I guess if it depends on what the structure of the fandom
well,
is.
we have no real authority. That would be the basis of it being a fandom or a community.
And you could correct me if I'm wrong here, Burning Spectre. You're saying that the people, the powers that be, the people with a voice and views, don't just hand wave off like a serious problem with.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. that if you had some influence on this community or fandom, whatever it is you're talking about, you would you would address the stuff that is of concern. You would say something about it.
My concern with that is I don't think that most people do it for the right reasons. I think that they do call out videos and talk about these things for personal gain and not because they're trying to police the fandom.
I didn't want to become the guy on the Flufflepuff thing. Yeah, exactly. Because I was like, everyone would just think Brony Inspector was doing that so that everyone would know his name as the guy who did that thing. And I wanted to make sure that no one thought I was doing that. That was
for that example, Brony Inspector, when you dropped that off at my door, I was a fan of that content creator, and I was like, well, guess that's not going to be the case anymore.
We all went, why, Michael, why?
I think that if there is an actual crime being committed, then it's probably better to just report it to the police. You can do your own research and give them your findings. I don't think it's necessary.
I agree with that to a point, but there's the Kero the Wolf situation, and he's not going to jail.
Right, but
probably
he was investigated by the police. If they didn't find any real evidence of anything he did, then maybe he didn't do anything.
That's you're welcome at any poker table I'm at.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, wait a minute. Maybe you didn't do anything. I'm like,
I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Look, I went through that pretty hard. It looks pretty obvious, and he made a lot of bad decisions.
But that's what I'm saying is that if it can't hold up in a court, if the evidence isn't sufficient to hold up in a court, then what do we? I don't know.
I heard rumors of him getting another pet animal, so that's what I'd be worried about. That's worth keeping an eye on. Instead of just like,
see, this is what I'm talking about. So fandoms and communities, when the law goes like not enough evidence, but the community / fandom has the evidence, and then they choose not to police themselves. Yeah, okay. So I guess the cop said he was innocent, even though that everyone else who came forward was stuff that compelled that. Like,
what I'm saying is that the evidence that the fandom thinks they have may not actually be very good evidence.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that perhaps you're a bit tired, but I think in Kero's case, we all kind of know.
Oh, in Kero's case, sure. Yeah. In Kero's case, it's pretty obvious, but I'm talking about in general.
Okay, there we go.
All right, generally speaking, all right, perhaps using Kero as a parenthetical example is a bad thing to do right now because it is confusing the thing we're talking about. No, generally speaking, generally speaking, I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah, no, I absolutely get your point because you've given examples like Zaush, right? And there've been a couple of the people who dishonored wolves, so forth and so on. There was that Australian gentleman, dog something or other.
We have to have a
damn dog games.
We have a standard. We have to apply it to everyone, not just the people that we like more. Not just the people. So that's what it comes down to, is that if we have the standard for everyone, then we need to apply it to Kero too.
You know what? I thought of a question. I remembered this now that I wanted to ask you for a while. If you think, all right, if Furry could create their own age of consent, what do you think it would be? Just like not what your number would be, but what do you think Furry would land on?
The furry age of consent.
Yeah.
I'm flinching like Dick Masterson's response.
The furry age. If people
in the community, you're gonna let the community decide this number. What number do you think they would land on?
Are you saying if Furry could have its own nation?
Yes, if Furry was making its own rules.
That made me cringe so bad.
Oh boy. It would probably be the age that people enter the fandom, which is generally around 16, 15, or 16. Okay,
so 16.
That's
wow, I imagine it would be as low as I thought. I imagine lower. All right.
Well, so the thing about the furry community is it does have a lot of zoophiles, but the pedophiles I haven't found as much evidence for. They certainly exist, but a lot of them, even though you could call them pedophiles, they're after the 16-year-olds.
Oh, okay.
They're not usually after the 8-year-olds.
Which ones are those?
Which one? Oh, I couldn't say any names. I'm just going on.
I think it's getting a bit late, and I know you've got to probably start getting ready for your stream. Yeah. I've got plenty. It'll probably take a week or two for me to put this up, Koth. I had a great time. If sometime in the future I'm not busy, I'd be glad to do another one.
Okay, yeah,
I had a good time, man. You were
okay, wow. All right, just noticed something.
Yeah.
Tell me you got that recording, BI.
Yeah.
Okay, good, because mine. I just looked up and why is it not?
That's not good. I've been recording at least my audio too, so if you need that, I can send it to you.
Oh, if you're recording just yourself locally, that doesn't do too much good. I guess.
Oh, yeah, well, you can line up the tracks. Yeah,
I got it.
Okay, good. Thank God. I looked over at OBS like, why? What? No. Okay, breathe. There was some good pot in there, but yeah, no, I appreciate it, boss. I wanted to bring a couple people along just to try and smooth things out. I know Creepy was going to get off work in 15 minutes ago, but I was like, you know what? We're about done. There's no point in bringing him in. There was somebody else who's a bit confrontational. I was like, no, he's cool. You've got the wrong idea, but he's not around, so fuck it. All right. It's been good.
Yeah, it was a nice talk.
All right.
Good time, man.
Yes, and contrary to popular belief, besides being a kind of an ignorant dick, I'm not out to destroy people for the hell of it. Take care.
Okay.
I had a good time talking with you, man. I really, I like your shit, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you don't, hope I didn't talk over,
Okay.
hope I didn't talk over you too much on the pod. I worry about that. Pod optics being my first concern, but you were one of the better, more thoughtful, interesting guests we've ever had since I started doing this pod.
Oh, okay. Well, that's nice to hear.
Yeah, and I wouldn't just say that. I think you got plus you got some insight on the whole furry thing, which is people need to listen, and I hope we didn't, I hope you don't. I don't know. I like you, man. I hope you don't think we're dicks or anything.
No,
you don't
I
have
don't
to
think
answer
you're
that.
dicks.
Do you have to answer that? I don't care.
You know what I was trying to get at with what's his name? His for no good reason. What's his
Anthony.
Anthony. Okay, so yeah, with Anthony, it's just
and
sometimes
I'm Drew,
I wonder
if you want to use regular guy names.
Well, saying for no good reason is too many words.
Anthony or FNGR or Inspector or Drew or Bi or BI, any of those, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's with him, it's I watched some of his videos and I just wonder. I could tell that he was a little bit older than the average furry or brony or whatever, and I just wonder why the interest in these, like, I don't know, kind of high school politics. You know what I mean?
Dude, like KP for president of Brony High School, because Brony will always be high school. I don't know what, like, yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like I don't know. I mean, I'm guilty of the same stuff because I'm almost 30 and I do the same. I've talked about the same sort of, like,
I am 34, 35, and I don't dude, drama is about, like, flavor of the week, man.
Yeah.
Like the whole King of Limbo thing is, like, I mean, I'm
King of
so
Limbo,
glad
what's
you
that?
fucking, that's the title of the podcast you just went
Oh,
on.
okay. Sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the title of this
Sorry.
podcast that you were on. Like, I don't know. I think you did better than most dudes did out there as far as navigating everything is concerned. And, like, it seems like your main issue with Anthony is, like, it seems a little immature, which is just like we like a little girls show, like, that's our fandom. You do, like, let's get that out of the way. Let's get that this is immature. Let's get that out of the way really early, okay?
I guess. I just, I guess it depends on what you want out of YouTube and out of being a content creator.
What do you drive?
Yeah.
What kind of car do you drive?
Toyota Corolla.
Nice.
It's just cheap and practical.
It's just no one built, e.g. Toyota conceived of the perfect car is all. Yeah, I get it. Good choice.
Yeah.
That's the right answer to that question. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah. I don't really concern myself with
the car you don't need to worry about. Yeah. Man.
Well, I mean, I think people look at cars as, like, saying something about you as a person, but I don't really care about that. You know what I mean? Like, if you have a red sports car you drive around, then they're like, oh, you're a badass or whatever, or you're an asshole, one of the two.
Well, I just anyone who's enthusiastic about their car is an asshole. So there you go.
You think so?
Oh yeah. Don't get me started on my car.
Okay. Yeah, but he's right. I do have to go.
I just, like, it was good talking. Yeah, get your stream going, and yeah, man. I added you on Discord. If you got a chat or anything, I'd
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, if you want to shoot me a link, I enjoyed talking to you a lot. I'll see you around.
All right, see ya.